it is not a secret now. It is true, storm is brewing inside the inner circle of ODM. Very soon, we shall witness the fall of one of the greatest long-serving party in Kenya, of course, second to KANU, which ruled for 34 years, including Uhuru's 10 years rule between 2013 and 2022. This long-serving party is about to explode. The struggle in ODM is between the old guard, who have seen Raila Odinga through 5 failed attempts to capture the presidency, and the new, young, vibrant guards or thugs who are adversaries to the status quo, not by accident, but by design. A lot of work has gone into these young men to put them in that position. If it is your first time you are coming across this channel, or if you have been watching this channel without subscribing, please subscribe and turn on notification. I bring you up-to-date analyzed news behind the headlines. Please hit subscribe and turn on notification. The spat, let's continue. The spat between Peter George Kaluma and Babu Owino is the tip of the iceberg. There is widespread dissatisfaction both amongst the politicians and also within the voters of ODM. The popular view is ODM's time is up and people have to find new direction before it is dusk. That is one way of looking at it. Or ODM has to find new ownership, just like in football clubs. If the manager fails to bring in trophies 2-3 attempts, the owners look outward to find new signings. And if a new signing is not coming forth, the players normally hit the road. That is the reality of any competitive game, as politics is a competitive game. For ODM, the time for change is now. Not tomorrow, not the next election, it is now. So, why the infighting in ODM now? Let us try to answer this question. Some argue that the main reason there is infighting in ODM is because of lack of equity in sharing parliamentary positions in the 13th parliament. I'm not interested in who gets what or in who gets what to hold, what position is given to who in this parliament. What I am interested is, and what I know is, the scramble for these positions is the straw that broke the camel's back. But is that the only reason? Is the struggle for these positions the only reason why ODM is exploding? My answer is not quite. The youth in the party, for example, as I have mentioned earlier, Babu Owino and Ledama Olelinka have seen the light at the end of the tunnel. And the only way to reach that light is through the overthrow of the old guards in ODM. And what is this light at the end of the tunnel? This is it. People learn through example. The most effective way of teaching people is through example. The best way to teach people is by example, not by word of mouth. UDA, and by extension, the party leader, Dr. Ruto, has taught lessons to ODM, and these lessons have sunk in the minds of the young Turks. And these lessons are causing revolution in other parties like ODM. If you look at UDA leadership, more so the party leader, Dr. Ruto, has given huge space to the youth. If you look around Ruto, you will find youth are not just any youth, but youth who are performers and who are also well disciplined. These youth around Dr. Ruto are in positions of influence, and ODM youth are asking themselves what makes us different. So you know where the influence is coming from. Why are we in the periphery in ODM leadership? The youth in ODM are asking this question, and they are asking very loudly recently. This is a question that ODM youth need to answer and provide answer for themselves. Look at Mount Kenya and Rift Valley. 80% of elected leaders in these two regions are youth. And I can bet in Ruto's government, half of the cabinet will be comprised of youth. The youth will make half of Ruto's cabinet because they are all over and they are in position of power. Compare this to ODM. So in my humble opinion, ODM youth demands stems from the success of UDA youth. They ask questions that really matter. What makes ODM youth different? Of course, this question will not have come up if ODM will have formed the government after this election. But now people have to fight for their space. They have lost the election, the presidential election, and there is limited space of influence. So people have to fight. And the youth are fighting tooth and nail. No one will ever give you something for free. Everyone knows that. You must work for it, and if you are lucky, someone somewhere will find you useful in their team. And that's how you'll be given a space to prove yourself. But don't wait until that person finds you. Find yourself first. This is what Babu and Ledama are trying to do. They are trying to find themselves in this difficult circumstance, difficult period. I'm sure if they cross over to UDA, I'm talking about Babu Owino and Ledama, their space at the top is guaranteed. Not now, of course, it is too early, but with time, they will find their way to the top table. And this activism in ODM is partly to find a reason to move on. Sooner or later, these young politicians will join UDA if their demands remain unmet. You can take this to the bank or wherever you can cash. The second reason is the coming of Miguna, the activist. And people from Nyanza region are generally coming to the realization that this guy Miguna is going to change a lot. This guy Miguna is going to have tremendous effect on politics of Nyanza region. Now, my humble piece of advice to ODM party is to give in to the demands of the youth and let them lead the party. And I can tell you, never to underestimate this young man called Babu Owino. He has fired the first shot. And if he moves to UDA, the whole of Nyanza will move, especially if he joins hands with Miguna. And that is what is likely to happen. I don't know what you think. Please drop your comment below. Thank you.